The S remains mildly eccentric, somewhat posh and self-consciously French. This car subtly transgressed the conventions of size and template, if we ignore the 5 Series size DS9, as most buyers probably will, shame. The DS4 drives a wedge into the wafer-thin gap between a tallish hatchback and a lowish crossover. Its mission is to go against the usual premium hatch suspects: Audi A3, Mercedes A-Class and BMW 1 Series. But the extra height means it tangles against the BMW X2 and Cupra Formentor and Lexus X as well. We'll mention the Renault Arcana and Kia Ceed, but no doubt DS will pull a sniffy face at being lined up against mainstream opposition. But very few of those are quite like the 4, which is DS's intention. Striking in it. It's a good-looking thing, mostly because of the proportions. A comparatively short front overhang and low bulkhead bring a strong flat bonnet. Big wheel wells allow up to 20-inch alloys, pushed out flush with the body sides. The sheet metal is slashed with multiple diagonal creases. Too busy for some taste, perhaps, but it's all distinctive and confident. The hatchback sweeps rakishly down, under an optional 2-tone roof. Pop-out door handles and flashy textured LED lighting add to the upmarket look. It's also more aerodynamic than your usual crossover, thanks in part to the low roof, a flat floor and narrowish tires that derive their grip from a large diameter. Why does the gold car look bigger than the silver one up in the images? You notice then. The regular DS4 is already a little taller than most posh hatches, but if you've been considering a proper crossover like those listed earlier, you'll be more interested in the DS4 Cross. And yet, the sense of increased size is actually a bit of an illusion. The Cross runs the same suspension and ride height as the standard car, but just adds roof rails, some extra black plastic cladding and hill descent control. What's under the angular skin? The freshened proportions come from a heavily titivated version of the group's mid to large platform. The newest Peugeot 308 gains similarly. The DS4 brings all the tech innovation of the DS7 to this more compact class, and point of fact improves on much of it, especially the interface and driver assist systems. The S is selling lots of its FEVs. That drivetrain in the 4 gives 222 bhp total, and up to 38.5 miles WLTP electric range, for a CO2 rating of 30 grams kilometer. Otherwise you have the group's familiar mid-sized petrol and diesel engines. All DS4s have automatic transmission and electric handbrake, leaving room for storage, and a funny little second touchscreen down in the console. Clasp the pop-out door handles and you're into what's in some ways a typical DS environment. Lots of glinting knurled metalwork, and soft puffy stitched leather Alcantara. And screens. The older DS7 has slow responding screens with endless animations that dance more distractingly than strictly. But the DS4 has stepped up convincingly. It's clear and snappy. There's also a little touchscreen down by your knee, ahead of a wrist rest. This is usefully configurable, so you can perform your most frequent operations as shortcuts with a simple swipe. Yeah, a touchscreen to control a touchscreen makes it sound like they've tumbled down a rabbit hole, but it actually works quite well. There's also a big and informative head-up display. Overall then, here's an interface that's unusual but effective rather than gimmicky. How much does it cost? That's a very good question. Prices actually start at almost £27,000 for a 129 bhp petrol DS4, but if you're wanting a FEV hatch or cross, you'll have to fork out at least £38k. What's the verdict? Eccentric and a little expensive in FEV form, yet easier to want than its rivals. On the road, the general favor brings no great surprises. It feels pretty classically soft and French, especially in the one with predictive dampers when you've set it to comfort. But detailed development brings DS's most impressive and finesse car yet. It's soft but not floppy. The steering isn't that engaging, but it is precise. Performance is fine. Main driving niggle is the usual one from this French group. The automatic transmission shift timing is clumsy. You get a lot of tech for the price, and most of it works well. You also get a decidedly lush interior. Whether or not you actually want a car with such self-conscious styling is a question that comes up with any DS model. But with the 4, we think it's easier to want than the others. And that styling wraps a properly competitive car.